Hello, friends. Welcome to Much Review About Nothing. Do not mess with us. We have the power of God and anime on our side. Ah! On this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer.
And we're your co-hosts, Jake Greer and
Luke Greer, yeah.
Let's don't watch a movie.
so I guess we can go on to introspection inspection before we get into our movie.
Yes.
I guess we can do this one first because it is kind of exciting.
Yeah, this has been the most uplifting development in the podcast so far.
Yeah, I mean there's a kind of a bit of delay from when we released, when we talked about it before, but we have had a lot more downloads recently thanks to our ad, which we have to thank the Flophouse for doing our ad. We did pay them money, but we still think it'd be good to thank them.
Oh yes, they did a very good job advertising it, I thought. It was short, sweet, they made it sound good. They made a funny joke with it concerning their show where they're like, man, we wish we had picked this scenario for a podcast. It would have saved us a lot of effort, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
There's literally no effort into this podcast.
Well, there's a little. We have to get some material. There's no effort for you, but there is for us.
And that's the way I like it.
And then it seems like even before that, we managed to get our first rando review on our podcast.
Oh, I know. I was so happy about this.
Because we had Michael, who is a friend. He's not a rando.
Yes.
And now we have Raph B887.
Yes, the wonderful Raph.
So I'll read out his review. He says he gave us 5 stars.
Yes.
Happy I discovered this podcast is the title. I'm always on the lookout for funny new movie review channels, and I'm happy to have found this one. You guys are hilarious, and your nuanced discussion of the Emoji Movie, the most important work of fiction since 2001: A Space Odyssey,
exactly,
proved to me that you're more than just Disney shills looking for a quick buck. I'm looking forward to more. So that's great. We currently have a Hall of Fame up on our Podbean page.
Yes.
It's the only place we have it.
And he's right. We aren't Disney shills. We're Sony shills.
Yeah.
We are looking for a quick buck, but, not from Disney in particular.
So we have, currently on our Hall of Fame, we have Mom and Dad, because they're our first supporters, and they've given us suggestions and things like that.
Thank you, Mom.
Dad, for our life and existence. So.
And then we have Michael, and then we have Raph. So.
Yes, so you guys are on the Hall of Fame. It's probably the most dubious of honors, but an honor nonetheless.
The Hall of Fame behind the KFC that you don't go to.
And that's what I have. Do we have anything else for introspection inspection?
No, that was it, basically.
I mean, we don't really need introspection. We are perfect beings now. I mean, 5-star reviews, downloads.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're on top of the world, I guess, so we don't need to improve.
We're the best podcast out there. You can take that to the bank.
Okay, well, I guess we'll go on to our movie that we will not be watching today. We're going to be discussing Alita, Battle Angel. I don't know how that happened. Was I thinking of a beetle?
Let's watch Alita.
Alita the Beetle.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
But do you guys know anything about Alita, Battle Angel in general?
I know a little bit. I know it's a manga anime.
Yes.
I know that 100% because the random reviews we'll discuss that later.
Bring it up a lot.
But other than that, not too much.
I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
about
I don't
this.
know the plot. I know kind of what starts the plot. She's found in a junk heap by a scientist and revived, and I think she's part human. It's kind of like Ghost in the Shell in that way, but I do not know the plot other than I think she becomes a bounty hunter and she gets hunted herself. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, she's if we're talking about manga and everything like that, she's kind of like a Roanoke Zora. Once a bounty hunter, now she's being hunted.
Well, I guess, but I don't know if that's true. I know she becomes like a bounty hunter, I think, or an equivalent.
Did we want to get onto the trailer before we kind of discuss about or get into dynamic discussions?
Yeah, let's get into it. I just was seeing, what your guys' background on it was, if you knew any more than I do, because I don't know really anything about it. But I have heard of it before, and I do like the idea and the premise. It seems right up my alley.
It's 2 minutes long.
Oh, really? Oh, no. This is a long trailer. Oh, well. Okay, let's watch a trailer. All right.
I think the main thing we need to talk about is the eyes. Like anything anybody ever talks about with this movie is the eyes.
Yes, and I have some material on that. But before we get to that,
Okay.
I had to say, I want to talk about like our preconceptions or how we reacted to that trailer. Because when this material or when the footage, like the very first trailer, started coming out, I was like, if this is any good, I will be insanely surprised. Because it just seemed like one of those overblown like CGI fests where there's nothing to it whatsoever. And the fact it was directed by Robert Rodriguez was kind of a red flag to me because he's done some good stuff, but all I could think of was like the Spy Kids movies and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, where
those were masterpieces of 3D, Billy.
if you want to look at something that has not aged well, I mean they're charming, don't get me wrong, but those it looks like people in PS2 games, PS1 games, and I was afraid I don't know that like that kind of what's the word just kind of slapdash approach was going to be applied to this movie. But from what I've been hearing, from what I've been seeing, you know, as far as like anime adaptations go, you know, I'm kind of interested in this, and people have been reacting very well to this, and I think it's doing pretty good at the box office.
Yeah, it's doing quite well. I believe it was above average in reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
It was above average. Let's give it a round of applause. That's a pro. It was above average.
Yeah, it's above average. Well, I'm always down for dystopian sci-fi robotic carnage. I like robot people fighting each other. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of things in this that ticks my boxes.
I think it's childhood conditioning from watching Samurai Jack all the time, where he made all those robot people.
Probably.
Maybe that's why you like it so much.
Well, I'm a fan. I've been a fan of like anime since I was a young kid, so I think it all just strings together, and like Mad Max and things like that. But
I was a fan of anime before I realized it was made in another country.
Yeah.
I thought it was just all made here.
Yeah, we've been fans of anime since we had to watch like episodes of Dragon Ball Z strung out like 1 week after the next.
Fox Kids, baby.
And like getting super angry when the episode ends and no fighting is happening. It's just talking. Okay, but let's move on to what we really want to talk about, the eyes. And I've got to admit, the eyes freaked me out at first. It was right in the uncanny valley. What were your guys' reactions? The same?
That was the first thing I noticed. I'm just like, and in some shots it was tolerable, but at certain points I was like, ugh.
To me, it wasn't too bad. She got overall really jarring when she stood next to humans.
Yeah,
that is where like a lot of times we see that. I think we even saw that in Infinity War, like when Thanos. I think people talked about it where like he grabbed Loki. Yeah, it started to look really jarring because when you have something to compare it to, it really falls apart.
Maybe they just made the eyes a little smaller.
Well, that's funny. I have an article that kind of discusses that. But I thought it was interesting they decided to do this. It's the first time they've ever tried to kind of translate the anime look into, reality, which...
Maybe it wouldn't be too bad if there weren't actual humans, if everyone kind of looked like that, but
I said... That's the other point. What if they all look like that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of for that. Why not, I would love, a Sailor Moon live action, and they all kind of look like her. They're all these girls with big heads and big giant eyes. It would be like otherworldly, so it would feel different and kind of feel like anime in real life. And it has grown on me. Alita's appearance has grown on me. I think she actually looks really cute and different and makes you stand out.
This is based on Japan, so say kawaii.
She looked very kawaii, Desu. My heart goes doki doki when I see her.
That's better.
So, do we at least want a con for they didn't go all the way, or a pro con, or
I don't know. I'm kind of going the other way because a lot of times I complain about adaptations being afraid of their source material, and I felt like this has kind of embraced it as good as it could because I feel like there's no need to make all of them because some of them are more human.
I
Some
kind
are
of
humans.
I kind of like imagining all these famous actors animized,
Which
Yeah, they kind of look like her,
Yeah.
the big head of all my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Like, think of a Nick Cage anime. Like, have Nick Cage there, and it's just,
Oh my
he has
goodness.
big eyes.
That'd be horrifying and wonderful. This is right. But I'm kind of on the fence because like I love this dedication to source material where like she has big eyes. We wanted to look like the character because as we've seen from so many adaptations, the characters look nothing like they do. Like don't even get me started on like Titans or the Umbrella Academy. I mean it's utter nonsense, and I love this kind of devotion to the source material.
Or the characters simply don't exist other times.
Oh
So
yeah,
we run into that.
Yeah, like in the Nutcracker, which doesn't have the Nutcracker, which is come on, guys.
It has obscure characters like Madame Ginger, who no one remembers, but no, they don't have the Nutcracker or the Racky.
One thing I wanted to bring up was the Uncanny Valley effect. And I'm kind of curious why it isn't used more, like, proactively, like in horror. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Like, having your monster be almost human but not quite incredibly unsettling, I think it could be used to good effect, I would say.
No, that's an extremely good point. Because, like, say you took, like, a face like Alita, but you made it even weirder and distorted it even more, and, like, maybe the features are, like, off-centered. I don't know, maybe that'd be too far, but yeah, I feel like you could use this to great effect. Maybe like a sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it in any kind of horror or thriller where you want to kind of unsettle your audience. I think it'd be perfect. I'm kind of curious why people don't use it more, if they just don't think about the effect or anything like that.
Yeah, it seems like I wonder if it's because horror movies usually don't have enough money for this kind of effect.
That's true.
And maybe it's like it only happens because they're trying so hard to make it look real,
I think about it. Alita's appearance, I think, plays in her favor because she's supposed to be different. You know?
That's why I
so
kinda
this,
like it.
I guess, yeah. So now that I look at it from that angle, I'm kind of.
It helps differentiate her from the other like human characters because she's a robot person. But so I'm kind of saying pro for the dedication to source material.
Yeah, I like that.
We don't see that a lot.
I don't know about like the plot and everything.
The dialogue, at least from the trailer, seems like it's going to be bad, but maybe that's just...
Well, that's even truer to anime.
I mean, that's true. A lot of times anime has really bad dialogue, but it's just like, you're the most human of them all.
Hey, that's a good pickup line. But
I don't think it is. Could you imagine saying that to a girl in real life? Hey, you're the most human-looking girl I've ever met.
It only applies to non-human women that are like half robot, half monster.
There you go. There you go, guys.
Hey, another pro. We found a pickup line for non-human women.
That's right. If you can find them, guys, you're probably gonna, get a girlfriend.
Well, I mean, the robot women from Japan, they're gonna be coming here soon,
Yeah, so we got a good one to use.
Oh my god.
But yeah, speaking of the eyes, here's an article from Slash Film. It says, how James Cameron fixed Alita Battle Angel's big eyes, but not by making them smaller. So what happened, I think, is like they saw the complaints when the first footage came out, but instead of shrinking the eyes, from what I can see here, here's a comparison if you want to see it, Luke. They made her like irises and pupil bigger, which technically made the eyes seem more proportional. I think that's what's unsettling. Is see the like tiny.
She looks like Golem in that picture.
They changed her face as well.
Yeah, a little the lighting. Yeah.
They kind of helped with the face as well. They kind of made it more cartoony, I guess.
Yeah,
made it all more proportional. It certainly looks a lot better for the actual movie.
He wants to fight the robots, master.
And maybe it just comes down to finding a good balance between realism and cartoony. There is apparently like an area in there where the human brain's like, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too jarring.
Yeah. And here's another one. Here's another article I found. I kind of just picked this because of the title and for what the writer started to talk about, which I was like, this says more about the writer than the movie, in my opinion. But
more projection.
Yeah, the title of this article from the New York Times is Alita Battle Angel Review. Do female cyborgs dream of breasts? So I saw that. I'm like, well, I got to investigate this. And it was written by Manola Dargis.
She's a robot. She can have any size she wants.
Oh, Dargis.
Dargis. It says, at one point in Alita Battle Angel, another dystopian fantasy that reminds you of just how visionary the original Blade Runner was, the cyborg heroine gets a new body. It's a streamlined, shoulder-to-foot job, one that makes her look like a sex doll with a chrome-plated musculoskeletal system. Her new physique turns out to be an innovative weapon and comes with articulated parts, a wasp waist, and what looks like a discreet chastity panel for the groin. It also has larger breasts than the old model, a change that in a snort out loud line is pinned on Alita's own ideas about how she should look. If only someone here were joking or had an idea about the construction of femininity. Why does Alita, who has a human brain, even have breasts? Why does any cyborg that isn't a sex bot or a wet nurse? Genre convention only partly explains the on-screen look of this character, originally created by Yukito Kishiro in his manga series. Kishiro sexed up his cyborg, an amnesiac who in the first comic retains one protuberant breast when the rest of her body is destroyed. This brings to mind Jessica Rabbit, the bodacious femme fatale in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, who purrs, "I'm just drawn that way." Yeah, but by whom, for whom, and why? And when I read this, I was like, why can't robots be sexy? If Alita wants to look that way, that's her decision, okay? Am I wrong here? Can I get an amen?
I think you get an amen.
Hashtag let robots be sexy.
So, maybe the cyborgs are anatomically correct so they can blend in better, or maybe wear better disguises or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. But at the end of the day, this was Alita's decision, and I stand by it.
What if the bigger breasts are actually a sort of function, like if she falls, she can deploy them and expand. She hits the ground really hard, and stops it from falling, or it acts as extra Kevlar. So her chest is better protected.
That is a good point. It may be extra protection, and I'm also worried about how much of this I've got to cut out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this is usable.
Well, I can.
I'm just saying, there are maybe
I'm
there
not
are.
saying you. I'm saying the article itself is a bit. It's a bit controversial.
Well, I felt like this person is jealous of Alita. Jealous of her that she can just buy a new awesome body.
I mean, think about it. Us as men, if we were robots, we'd want a giant woo-woo. What was it, woo-woo?
Woo-woo,
yeah, we'd want a giant woo-woo, wouldn't we? Especially if we had a human brain.
Yeah. I can't remember what I wrote down. Hold on. Oh.
All I'm saying is that there are tactical advantages to having a bigger bust size.
This went in such a horrible direction.
I love you, Mom. You're gonna enjoy this podcast.
Yeah, bum bum and woo woo. Okay,
yeah.
So bigger. But if I was a robot, I want to be jacked. I want to be like the Rock times 10 with my tiny head on top of it. Just destroying things by crushing it. So I don't know. I say hashtag let robots be sexy. That's my opinion. I am all for, robots.
Put that as a pro.
Yes.
Sexy robots.
Sexy robots is a pro. We talked about, in the Han Solo, robot love.
Yes.
And there's robot love in this.
Yeah. And she actually looks like a human.
And she had someone to appeal to at one point.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but L337 is still best robot waifu. I can't betray her.
I don't really want to stand by that, personally.
Because she has a human brain, so she can fall in love, so thus she would want to look her best. I mean, it is explained. It is.
It makes perfect sense.
In universe.
I just think Dargus is jealous.
I think so too, of this fake CGI character.
Yes, or just the possibility to change your looks on a whim. And then the last article I have here, which I cannot read because it's from the Wall Street Journal, and they're going to make me subscribe to get to the rest of the article. But apparently on phone you don't have to do that, so I slipped by their defenses. But basically, this person wasn't too impressed with the movie, but he mentioned something that I thought that really caught my attention. He mentioned Motorball. Apparently, I think we saw an example of this in the trailer. Alita ends up playing this super deadly sport with other robots where they race around the track called Motorball. And he was in the article, he's complaining about every time that happened he was falling asleep. But when I saw that, I was like, yes, dystopian sports are probably my favorite thing on the planet. You think about Thunderdome, Death Race, So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I have got to see this movie. Dystopian sports. What are your guys' opinions on dystopian sports?
They're usually pretty great. Usually a lot of carnage. I
Yes.
mean, we saw in this one they're going around the track.
Mhm.
I mean, there's entire animes based on that premise anyway, so
Yeah.
I can't fault it at all.
It's like a very deadly version of roller derby.
Yeah, no, I know. That's
Yeah.
why I was like, yes, this looks amazing. So I'm giving a pro for dystopian sport.
I love dystopian sports, especially when they're done in 80s movies, because they're always the best. It's always the slow motion, the screaming, and like the blood, it's like, then it cuts out. You can see the man become a dummy and he explodes. It's like the best thing ever. I love the cheese fest that 80s dystopian sports have.
Yeah, but in this one there's going to be a lot less blood, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think we have to put that as a con. Less blood.
Less blood, yeah.
I mean, there is some blood, to be honest. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to have a dystopian sport, it needs to be just gory as heck. Because I was also thinking, like, The Running Man. That's another awesome, like, dystopian sport. But yeah, which I could do with a little more gore.
Maybe they did it. I'm not sure. It just looked like electronic parts. But, like, if you cut off, like, a robot's arm and just oil just sprays out, that works, too, I think. Because it is robot blood.
Yeah, but, too, they are, like, connected to people. So I think it would be interesting. You cut a robot part off, but, like, the human part starts spraying blood out, like a human heart's in there pumping blood that helps run the machine. Yeah, but I guess the PG-13 is better because you can get a wider audience.
Yeah,
it probably wouldn't have done nearly as well.
It's a minor. It's a minor.
It's a minor con.
It wouldn't really factor too much into final scores, but
Yeah, but I've always got to give a point for dystopian sports, no matter what. And I was kind of wondering, like, how that happens. Does she get, like, sold into slavery as a motorball fighter, or does she have to do it? And
maybe the orphanage is closing down. She needs the $500,000 to keep it open.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering. What if this is like, maybe we got the plot all wrong, and I thought it was about like her being hunted or hunting other robots. What if it's a story about like her getting the Motorball team back together? She's got to travel around, and she's like talking to all her old robot friends from her past. Like, she used to be an amazing Motorball player, and she fell from the top. And
so it's actually a sports movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe this is actually a sports movie.
So it's a tournament manga.
Yeah, and like she meets a robot who's got really big legs, which makes him good at kicking and running. And there's a robot with hands that kind of knit together like a net, so he's really good at catching.
Or a robot who manipulates string.
Yeah, like in every anime, there's always a string guy.
Yeah.
There's always a string guy and a hair guy, or a hair girl. But yeah, so I was kind of excited by the prospect of a brand new, awesome sports movie, because sports movies used to kind of rule the theater, and we haven't had one in a long time. They've kind of gone out of style. There's been a few here and there, but none that have really captured the imagination of America. And I think it's great. We finally got a new, awesome sports movie. And a robotic one, too. I'm going to put I'm going to put a pro down for that.
Wow.
Say all these good things to give the con.
You're like some of our random reviewers.
Yeah. I really hate this movie. Thumbs up.
5 stars. Sport movie. Well, I guess I should have said something else.
Just put down sports movie awesome.
Sport movie awesome.
Say it. Sport movie awesome.
What is this, like a 2000s movie?
Tim and Eric show. Great job. Yeah, I started writing and didn't know where I was going with it, but yeah, we know what we're talking about with that. So
yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah, that's what we're telling.
We won't forget.
No, that's never happened on this show.
Well, we figure out new information.
Yes, because we're circumstantial detectives or
yes.
whatever. But yeah, that's basically all the articles I had for dynamic discussions. I didn't even introduce this part. We were in dynamic discussion for several minutes now, and I forgot to introduce it. But
moment of silence, and then say dynamic discussion, and just put it at the start.
All right, dynamic discussion. Let's go.
And then just leave this part in as well. You just copy it and put that at the front. And then...
I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that part where it is.
Okay.
This podcast does not get better. I keep saying that. This podcast gets worse as it goes on.
And yet people still give us 5-star reviews.
Well, one person. One very generous.
We got 1 5-star, 1 4-star we can't actually see.
Yeah.
So.
One overly generous, overly nice person. But yeah, if we want to go on to rando reviews, we can. I think that was All the material, not really any cons yet. I'm kind of feeling good about this movie. It's one of the few movies where I'm saying that ironically, where I kind of, like, I'm actually really excited to see this.
Yeah, at least from the trailer and what we have, you know. But
big enemy eyes.
So we're getting into random reviews, and I was debating whether to put this person first, put him last, save him, but I think he has to go first.
Okay.
We have Midhun.
Midhun!
He's back,
He's back!
He's back from Aquaman.
Oh my goodness, what was his article again? Do you remember? What did he say? I remember him being important and crucial to that episode.
Let me see.
Oh man, this is like a family reunion of sorts. Like seeing a friend you haven't seen in ages.
Yeah, so Midhun, he talked about Aquaman. All his reviews are very similar, it seems like. And he just kind of runs through the movie. And there's one important aspect, but we'll get to that in a minute, because I'll read through the review and then we'll talk about it. Alright, so we have Midhun. Alita happens in the year 2563. The Earth is almost destroyed. Hope is lost, and things are mundane. So the Earth is almost destroyed, hope is lost, and things are just mundane.
Yeah, it's boring,
Like, I love that this is just an average toaster from 500 years ago. It's still the same toaster. So mundane.
Yeah, we have Motorball, but other than that, everything's just kind of dull. It's the very first mundane dystopia.
Yeah.
No one's really into it. Even the oppressive government's kind of like, man, just put up a few propaganda videos and call it a day.
Well, I guess we have to give a con for that. It's a mundane dystopia.
I was expecting more from you, Alita.
But that is until Dr. Ido finds something from the junkyard.
Okay, so he's gonna...
So this universe is so boring that a man finds something interesting in the junkyard. It's like top billing news.
This is a sports movie. Think about it. The world's dull. No one has anything to kind of latch onto, and like they don't have any hope. This man finds this robot. She's great at Motorball. Maybe she starts Motorball. And it causes revolution. And everyone is finally like, yes, we were saved for the mundanity.
Everyone's into the dystopia now. The government's all like, we gotta send in those kill squads. And everyone's like, we gotta mumble and grumble around trash fires again. Everyone's just back into being in the dystopia.
So Motorball is like this, really obscure sport. And they approach Alita. Hey, Alita, we want you back into Motorball. We remember you, come back and get us a resurgence of the sport. And she gets back in, and all of a sudden it explodes.
It takes off.
Yeah. And so he continues. Directed by Robert Rodriguez and produced by James Cameron, Alita is a roller coaster ride of emotions, action, romance, and hope.
Nice.
Rosa Salazar is emotion captured as Alita, and trust me, you would instantly fall in love with her wide open eyes. She is gorgeous, adorable at the same time, very dangerous. Christoph Waltz is so good as Dr. Ido, who brings Alita back to life. Not just once, but twice.
Ooh, wow.
I love that. What's his name? Ido?
Dr. Ido.
I keep thinking of, now when you say it, I think of Dr. Ivo Robotnik. And he works with robots too.
Yeah.
Alita has an incredible charm. She walks around in the city, meets Hugo, makes friends, and eats oranges for the first time. But everything changes when she finds out who she is. Period, question mark.
Wait, a
question mark? That's not a question.
No, who she is, period. It's a space, then a period, and then immediately after the period is a question mark.
He doesn't understand what he just wrote. He's like, what? The question, the sentence itself is not a question.
I like oranges too,
Yeah, it's so good she got oranges. I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
Maybe she looks at it, she's like, this is like a Robo-ball,
Yeah, it inspires her. It's part of the inspiration.
It's how she gets her memory back. She looks
Yes,
at an orange. Rumble-ball.
Yeah, it's actually Motorball.
Motorball.
We keep renaming it.
I like Robo-ball better.
Robo-ball is awesome.
I like Robo-ball.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence because I like Motorball and I like Rumble-ball.
What do you, the viewers at home, think? Put you to a poll. Do you like Motorball or Robo-ball better?
Rumble. You just called it Robo-ball.
I was always calling it Robo-ball.
Oh, we called it 3 different things.
Oh my goodness.
Well, what do you think? Rumble-ball, Motorball, or Robo-ball? We'll play. We'll do like.
Is it like Rumble-ball? What?
The real game is
It's
Motorball.
Motorball. You said Robo-ball. I said
Rumble-ball.
Rumble-ball.
Yeah.
So we'll put that to a Twitter poll.
Okay.
3 options. Which one do you like better?
All right, we get into some spoilers though.
Okay, yeah, spoiler.
Which we're not against spoilers. We actually need spoilers.
Yes, to understand the movie.
The action scenes are exceptionally good. Her romance with Hugo is fabulous.
That's that kind of romance.
There are gut-wrenching scenes too. The movie is fast. There's always something happening. Characters are well-defined, and they all make their presence counted. Even the puppy, which comes twice on screen, gets an important space.
Puppy.
Yes.
It's good time. They gave screen time to the puppy. That's a pro.
That is a pro.
Puppy love.
I had great fun watching Alita. She made me laugh, cry, and the way she stands for justice, truth, and love is inspiring. There is a scene in which she literally takes her heart out and gives that to Hugo so that his dream...
I'm reading about that.
I'm sorry, his dream would come true.
His DR would come true.
She reminded me a lot of Neytiri, one of my all-time favorite movie characters. I'm going with 3.5 stars for Alita. Do you remember what he gave for Aquaman?
What?
He gave 3.5 stars.
Really?
Yes, all he ever gives is 3.5 stars.
He's hard to impress.
He really is. He can say a bunch of great things about your movie, and he gives you only 3.5 stars.
Just means you gotta try
above
hard.
average.
He's fair but firm. You know, I love Midhun's purity. You know, he takes joy in the simple things about movies, and I kind of wish all audiences could have his same perspective. What a happier world it would be if we could all look through Midhun's eyes.
I think we put Midhun in the MVPs.
I say too.
He's our star player whenever he appears.
Is it Midhun? Am I saying that right?
Midhun.
Okay, Midhun. Good.
I said Midhun.
I like that. Was it truth, justice, and love?
Yes.
I was getting a Superman vibe from that. He stands for truth, justice, and the motorball way.
So, the next one I have an IMDb, and it's by Strike 1995, and it's only relevant for its title. He gave it 6 out of 10 stars. He calls his review One Lime.
One lime? Why?
I thought she ate oranges.
Yeah, there's oranges in this movie, not limes.
Alita is a spectacle-driven... Alita is a spectacle-driven, that's beauty, is undeserved by its lacking sensual relationship. However, this is a must-see on the big screen.
What did any of that mean?
I don't know.
Can you read that again?
Alita is a spectacle-driven, that's beauty, is undeserved by its lacking sensual relationship.
I guess he's saying that it
It's
looks
word
nice.
salad.
I guess, but what I can decipher from this is that he says the movie looks nice, however, the romance is it.
Okay, Luke speaks nonsense, so he can translate.
Jabba Dooba.
It's the most confusing review I've ever seen. Just the fact that it just starts with one line.
Yeah, one line.
And then it goes on to word salad and dribble.
I guess he meant one line, because his review's basically one line.
I don't know, but do we give this movie one lime?
You know, I think it deserves, at the very least, one line.
I give
feel
it
like that's the least
a
we can do.
bushel of limes.
Yeah, so...
So it has one orange and one lime at this point.
Yes, well, I mean...
It's almost got a fruit basket.
I wonder if... Oh, don't remind me of the anime.
If one lime is an award, I say it deserves it, because a lime is not very expensive, and, you know...
Are we going to reward our movies with limes if they're good?
So.
I get this movie 3 limes out of a bushel.
But, like, is one lime good? Like, is it the fact that you get a lime at all a good thing? It's like a symbol of success and victory?
I think so. I mean...
You got to go to the movie theater, they give you a lime?
No, you give the movie. You give, like at...
You offer limes to it?
At Cannes or whatever, like when the director is talking or, you know, after the movie, you come up, you don't give him a bouquet or something, you give him one green lime to symbolize his success as a director.
Imagine if you did that.
Yeah.
Like, what the crap it's like, what the fuck?
Thank you. I get this man out of here.
Suck on it.
Okay, well, what do you have any more?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I grabbed this one because it relates to the next one as well. Not directly, but I thought it was interesting. And these are from the Google one. Alright, so we have Lucas. He gave it a thumbs up. I just watched Alita Battle Angel, and let me tell you, oh boy, what a ride. The main woman does a great job. The old man does a good job. That other guy is good too.
Did you remember their names?
He's not good for me.
Well, you'll see where this guy is basically, or the point of this one. You know what I like about the movie? It's about anime. I think all the critics who said this movie was bad should be put in a hole 10 feet underground.
Oh my God.
Rotten Tomatoes, well, the rotten part is right. I hate critics. Critics deserve nothing. Why would you grow up to be a critic? My mother decided to become a critic, and now I have one less mother in my life.
One less. Yes, you expressed by like a lesbian couple. I lost my first mother. She became a critic, and I tore her from my life.
I know, he apparently just buried her in the yard.
Well, no, he says they deserve to be buried.
Oh, yeah,
so if he got a hold of his mother, if he saw her ever again, he'd probably bury her in the backyard.
Yeah. One of my almost good friends didn't like the movie, and I decided to push him into oncoming traffic. For those...
Really right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you are getting the point that he is being very facetious, I guess. And it's related. We'll see in a second. For those who think that was attempted murder, relax. I was only trying to educate him on the dangers of being a goofball. There's nothing wrong with teaching people how to enjoy one of the best movies of the year. I know there's still 10 months left, but let's be honest. It will all be trash. Thank God for Alita, because otherwise I would not know how to enjoy life. 10 out of 10. It deserves all points, and people who think otherwise, guys, get out of my life.
This guy. I don't know if he actually liked the movie or if he's just messing around.
Well, he is, because I found this review. Wallace, and it's related. I read a lot of reviews of this film after I watched it. In my opinion, it would seem that those who like anime and manga got it and liked Alita. Those that didn't get it and disliked Alita. If Alita were to respond to her reviewers, I think she would say to the people that liked her story, thank you, with big bright eyes and a big smile. To those who didn't like her story, I think she would say, F your opinion, stab them in the eye, kick them in the head, and get on with taking care of her warrior business. I would imagine that if this comment doesn't make sense to someone, then they still don't get it. So... I'm gonna say I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say Lucas was being facetious. I think he was making fun of people like Wallace who actually believe like
I'm hurting. My stomach hurts.
I gotta say, Alita brings out certain emotions in people, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it makes people want to murder other people.
It drives you to violence.
If you like anime and manga, it makes you want to kill people who don't.
So that kind of springboards into my own point that when I was reading the reviews, a lot of times people would say, I like, and I've seen the anime and manga, and I liked it, or I've seen the anime and manga, and I didn't like it, or I didn't see any of the source material, but I still liked it. So everyone's like saying, oh, if you don't like anime and manga, you're not going to like it, and then someone over there will say, I haven't watched any anime and manga, but I really liked it. You know, so it's just like everybody's throwing out all these different things.
There's no true Scotsman.
No, it just shows how subjective art really is, and how all these different perspectives can respond to it in different ways. It illustrates that point beautifully.
I'm kind of afraid to watch this movie because, I like a good anime, a good manga. I'm afraid if I watch it, I'll be forced to kill my family members who don't like it.
You want to murder critics?
We have a big family, so we'll all sit down, we'll watch the movie, and it's going to be like that scene in Kingsman. We're in the church, and we just we get up and we just start killing each other. So
we all have different opinions.
So I think we need to bring it down a little. I've got a couple more. We have Elliot 23895. He gave it a 5 out of 10. His review is titled "She rubs dog blood on her face." It's under a spoiler warning. It says, "Spoiler: a dog dies and she rubs its blood on her face." That's his review. So
what is this, like Elfin Lied? What is it with the manga related stuff killing dogs? The Japanese, they do not have the same attachment to, like, think about JoJo. That all the anime is murdering dogs periodically.
Well, in Araki's defense, he did say that the reason he does that is to make the villain despicable.
Yeah, it just seems to me like in America, dogs are sacred. That's like our sacred animal. But in Japan, they're just
I think the reason for that is a lot of kids and young adults and stuff, they all watched Old Yeller or read it for school or something, and it's permanently scarred them so they can no longer kill dogs.
Yeah, there's a ton, isn't there a ton of books with a dog? Yeah, there are. There's like this. What is it? The Stoneheart? I can't remember.
And there was like Where the Red Fern.
Oh yeah, Stone Fox.
Yeah,
and then there's Where the Red Ferns Grow.
That's not Stone Fox, but it's the one where like he goes through the dog race. And then he races with the dog, and his dog's heart explodes near the end. That was one of the first real books I ever read.
I know. I was like, what the heck? I was depressed. Boom! Dog falls dead.
Well, it took him a moment because he dragged them all across the finish line.
Yeah, so he won, technically.
Yeah, he got all that money, but...
Yeah, but his dog's heart exploded.
So I think the reason why us as Americans we can no longer harm a dog because we were bombarded with so much the dog dies at the end trope and all that we run away from it.
Yeah, in Japan, Old Yeller is a happy story because the dog gets shot at the end.
Well, there's also John Wick.
Yay!
To be fair,
oh yeah,
John Wick had a dog death, so. You know, it's just it's the new thing in movies. I think we're going to see a lot more dog death.
Oh no!
But there's our blood right there. There's a little bit more blood. And the fact that she rubs it on her face. I mean, that's kind of disgusting. Like, what was she thinking?
So unhygienic.
Yeah, very unhygienic.
All right, we have Aisha. So he gave it a thumbs down. I hate to be the guy who you see dislike your favorite movie. Well, you better be careful. There's some people who want to speak with him.
Maybe Wallace and Lucas are gonna like a vigilante duo. I think done critics.
Push him into traffic and stab him.
Aisha's tapping on his computer.
Well, it's probably a woman. Aisha's like a woman's name.
Aisha, it is tapping on his
No, it's probably a woman.
She's probably typing on her computer. All of a sudden, the door bursts down. And there's Wallace and Lucas.
The deadly duo.
All right, so she says, but this movie was utterly outright predictable, and the movie, and what?
Wait a second. Wait, I had this, I'm going to interrupt you, but I just had an epiphany.
Yes.
How about a dark comedy starring a duo who are really into movies, but they hate critics. So they're serial killers that hunt down movie critics because they keep trashing on their favorite B-rated movies.
That's not a bad idea.
It'd be a dark comedy and everything.
Yeah, no, I really like that idea. I've had similar ideas in the past. It'd be funny if they went to kind of like the list of like reviews and then picked out names and tried to hunt these people down somehow. I think that would be interesting.
Call Wallace and Lucas.
Yeah,
Wallace and Lucas.
It's kind of like Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction or something. But back to the article or the review. Do you want to go over it again?
Yeah, I was just because it got kind of split up. So, I hate to be the guy who you see dislike your favorite movie, but this movie was utterly outright predictable and The movie cliches, person finds a broken down junk cliche, person fixes junk, who then finds out their special cliche, the hold my hand and don't fall, then eventually falls and dies cliche. If I were to rate the movie, I would...
That was a cliche.
It kind of is.
I guess so.
Like if you think about it in movies, hold my hand, and then it slips out and they fall and die, If I were to rate the movie, I would rate it 4 out of 10, I'm assuming stars. The CGI was impressive, but the plot was not good in my opinion. Seemed like a massive overuse of periods in this. But yeah, so he didn't like the movie, and it says really cliche. Also,
I'm going to stab him in the eye.
The main reason, I just like the hold my hand and don't fall. I haven't really thought about that. I was like, yeah, that is kind of a cliche. Well, I mean, it hasn't been up too much, though.
Yeah. What are you supposed to yell in that situation? Hey, hang on if you want to. It's fine.
Yeah.
Grab on to my appendage.
I don't think it's necessarily the light itself. It's more like the situation.
Yeah, it keeps happening.
Yeah, it's just like, hold my hand, and then they slip out and they fall and die.
Well, tropes aren't bad. It's the execution.
No, yeah. That's the other cliche I thought of, remember we were talking about this before, but one that just hit me was, this couldn't possibly get any worse. And they cut it and it's like way worse. Usually it's rating after that.
It'd be nice if it something good happened.
Yeah, that would be funny. This can't get any worse. Hey, we found ice cream.
But yeah, that was all the reviews I picked out. I mean,
you want to make that con? Big cliche, cliches.
Oh yeah, maybe style over substance, / cliched.
I think one thing I like about the radar reviews sometimes is just like, I'm blah 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 age. Like there's this review, I'm a 47-year-old man who went to see this film. Like they think it adds like weight to their review, like how old they are and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess in their defense, this kind of movie would appeal more to younger people, you'd think. But I don't know. I mean, I've always been of the mind that whatever appeals to you, regardless of who your demographic.
And then there's the tryhards who like the Gun M. I liked it, and stuff like that. So they call it the Japanese name and all that. So the reviews were interesting for this one, mostly just because of like everybody talking about manga and stuff like that. So
Luke and Wallace nearly killed me. I say we put them in the MVP list.
Yeah, I think they.
New Pulp Fiction duo.
Yeah.
I think Lucas was kind of making fun of people like Wallace, but and Wallace could even be joking, but I'm not sure. It's the internet, but.
Oh man! Again, I wish I could meet some of these people, or at least
great.
chat with them.
I'd be afraid to meet Lucas and Wallace.
Maybe not in person. Maybe in the chat room or something.
Go down to the local prison for killing a critic.
All right. Well, that's it for random reviews. Let's go on to Facts and Follies. You can win $1 million.
I can? Wait, what?
I just realized it sounds like a game show. That would kind of be a fun Facts and Follies. Yeah.
Everyone, get ready for Facts and Follies.
That's what I was saying. Like, you have to figure out like what's the true thing and what's the falsehood in a series of questions.
Fibbage.
Yeah, I guess it'd be like
Jackbox.
fibbage.
Well, no,
we got something there. We normally come up with movies, but we got a game show.
Yeah, we come up with a whole bunch of different stuff. Eventually, we come up with books, comic books.
We're a reservoir of creative knowledge.
Yes, we are the reservoir dog of creative knowledge.
You can.
Going back to Quentin Tarantino. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Okay, Facts and Follies. The manga series is titled.
Tattled.
My brain is not working today.
The manga. What did manga tattle on?
Tattled and Alita. The manga series is titled Battle Angel Alita, but the movie is titled Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, that was always throwing me.
Yeah. I wonder why that is. Is that just a movie titling kind of tradition where we have like the person's name?
Maybe they're actually trying to differentiate from the source material,
true,
so that way if you search up one, you don't get the other.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's really smart.
In 2010, producer John Landau commented, "I'm telling people that we have to call it Alita Battle Angel because James Cameron, only does T&A movies. Most of James Cameron's movies' titles begin with the letter A or T, such as Titanic, Aliens, The Terminator, The Abyss, True Lies, and Avatar."
I don't think that's intentional, though, is it?
But I thought that was insane how that happened. That's funny, and I love T&A movies, which means something very, very different. But I know he said it as a joke. I just thought that was interesting in general.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
But maybe there is a secret to that, because you think about James Cameron, arguably one of the most successful directors alive, just, consistently.
You think that's how he gets his power?
Yeah, maybe he's harnessed, there is power to certain letters. Like the letter K is usually considered a pretty funny sound if you use it in a joke.
Yeah.
And maybe like T and A have this power in our mind. We're like, I've got to see that. I don't know. Maybe he's tapped into something.
Yeah.
Language has power.
His dark magic.
Yeah.
That's how his movies are also successful.
Cameron magic. And this other one says, possibly the final film from 20th Century Fox before the studio becomes subsumed by Disney. And I was just struck just by how ominous that statement is.
It kind of is ominous, the monopoly of movies, basically.
Yeah, and just the idea of Disney be this massive blob that's just absorbing other production studios.
It makes you wonder that once Disney absorbs so many studios and stuff like that,
when did the monopoly laws kick in?
Will there be factions inside of Disney itself? So
probably, yeah.
That way, you have the Fox people who are fighting for their interests in there, against the Marvel people or whatever. They're waging wars back there. So it's kind of like you've encased them all, but they're still fighting eternally.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like that.
Well, I mean, some people talk about how, in the future, businesses and corporate entities will rule the world. But I just think it's going to be one. I think one day the mouse will be our god and will rule over all of us.
I think so.
Will that be our dystopian future?
Yeah, instead of like Motorball or Rumble-ball or Robo-ball, it's going to be like Mouse Ball or something like that. Disney Ball.
It's gonna be a very weird dystopia.
One thing
because all the kill squads are gonna be wearing like these mouse ears.
Well, they already have the kill squads, but one thing
that's right, they do.
We might want to consider doing is putting all our podcast episodes on like a trigger, so that way if Disney finally does take over, it just deletes them all.
Yeah,
that way,
so they won't hear our rebellious talk.
Because that's who go first is the dissidents.
We join the intellectual and philosophical Sony faction with their with their rabbit with their rabbit kill squads and emoji.
That
magic.
is true. I mean, Peter Rabbit is going to give Disney a run for its money.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to see that Rumble Ball with Peter Rabbit fighting Alita.
Yeah, because like the followers of Emojism, that's going to be like a theocracy. It's going to be another kind of small faction.
You're gonna have like the Dominion of Disney over here. Then you're gonna have the theocracy of emojis. Everyone's gonna be wearing like masks of like an emoji symbol. Yeah. Then you have the Sony conglomerate over in the east.
Although I guess Emojism is like an offshoot.
It'll
break off from Sony.
It's kind of like how the Holy City is in Rome.
Rome. Sony is kind of funding Emojism to like distract Disney basically, because Disney's going to come down on Emojism, which will cause the religion to grow and spread and eventually take over.
Okay.
Well, what did we get off?
I don't know. Okay, we are in Facts and Follies. This one says...
Just something to look forward to in the future, guys.
Yep. This fact says, the film is based on the 9-volume Japanese manga Gun M, written and illustrated by Yukito Kishiro. In North America, it was released under the title Battle Angel Alita. And, it talks more about its release schedule. I mainly wanted to bring this up because I was curious why in Japan it's called Gun M, but we called it Battle Angel Alita. Is there any, information behind that?
So it's from Ganmu, which is literally Gun Dream.
Oh, Gun Dream. Okay.
So it's just kind of a Japanese
it's thing. Probably because it wouldn't make any sense to us. So we'd be like, what does this mean? Because it's basically like a stylization of Japanese words. Yeah. So that's why it doesn't make any sense to us. Yeah. But her name's Galley, so why not Galley Battle Angel? Or Battle Angel Galley?
Oh, I mean they do it all the time. Yeah. Changing the names and stuff.
How is Galley is like a non
But if they didn't do that, then James Cameron wouldn't come on.
I guess. But, Galley has no country of origin. That could be an American name, possibly. Because why Alita? Galley sounds nothing like Alita, is my question.
Probably just because they're releasing it to American audiences, and they just wanted to give it, a recognizable name.
Yeah, I was just wondering. Director Robert Rodriguez based the second Motorball sequence on watching a NASCAR rally. For that reason, he eschewed aerial and impossible shots in favor of the physics of real cameras and placements seen in NASCAR. It includes long lenses, capturing things whizzing by, as well as cameras on the track with the players to keep it as real world as possible. It was the longest sequence in the film that he worked on that took him about 3 years from start to finish.
Oh yeah, because we didn't talk about that. This movie took 20 years.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been in development hell for 20 years. He's been it's more like he was kind of waiting. He's been wanting to make it for 20 years, James Cameron. Yeah. But the technology wasn't there.
So he's just kind of waiting.
Yeah, it was kind of like with Avatar.
At least it got released. I like the Thief and the Cobbler.
Yeah.
So does that mean they put their actors on the track and whizzed them by real fast? Are the actors going that fast? I wonder how many injuries and deaths they caused in this movie.
Well, I think that means they set the camera down in a green screen area and they sat there for a couple of minutes and then they took it back and then they animated everything going by it.
Well, no, Hollywood has been, using real actors for these kind of things recently,
I guess that's true.
For really dangerous stunts.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, 3 years? Who knows how many people James Cameron has killed?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there's probably just constant pile up of bodies after bodies.
So guys, where's the stunt doubles? You're gonna be adding some CGI later, right? Run! They launch him off. He's screaming.
Well, that's all who died. They just they threw stunt doubles into they had a furnace that was. They just took the corpses and burned them.
You sign your life away when you're a stuntman. All right. I thought this was interesting. Christoph Waltz was the male lead in Tim Burton's film Big Eyes about a woman who paints popular pictures of people with big eyes. In Alita, he is the father of someone with big eyes. So it's like, we gotta get the big eyes guy, Christoph Waltz, whatever this, he has a monopoly on that very tiny film genre.
It's so tiny, it may not even exist.
Yeah. Well, it does now because there's two.
You gotta make your market.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, there wasn't actually really any follies. These aren't really worth bringing up. But I just wanted to mention this first one because it made me think. When Alita is given a bar of chocolate, she takes several bites out of it. The shapes of the bitten chocolate bar changes between shots and is never consistent with the bites that she takes. And that kind of just got me thinking about, like, on-set logistics. So I'm assuming, like, it takes a long time to set up these shots and execute them. So is there someone on set who's kind of, like, trying to carve candy bars, like new ones, into the shape that she took a bite out of and just failing? Or
I guess it took several shots and they spliced together. Who knows? Maybe this scene took years to make. You know,
yeah, this scene also took 3 years.
Yeah.
Just like more, they're throwing dead bodies and candy bars into the furnace.
So much wasted chocolate.
Yeah, but it just made me think.
And they're in the same furnace. You have like chocolate coated corpses.
Because like in movies and TV, they never seem, well, it's particularly TV, they never seem to eat their food. They might take a bite, but they just have like these full meals laid on the table, and then the scene ends and the characters get up and they leave their food uneaten.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that's more continuity stuff, or like if the food is designed to look real but it's fake, so they can't technically eat it.
It's just like certain things in like shows and movies, like when you get a new book and they open it to the middle and stuff like that. You know, just things like that.
Yeah.
It always bothered me as a kid.
Yeah, me too. The food stuff kills me all the time, just because I love eating so much. So when they just walk away, I'm like, no, you paid for that. Eat it. Bring it with you, please.
I've eaten with people before, you know, and that's actually pretty realistic. They'll take like 3 bites out of it and they'll be done. I'll be like, what?
I guess it drives me crazy. So yeah, there wasn't really any follies. I just want to discuss that.
Well, I mean, it was a chocolate folly. The thing's kind of folly. I mean,
Yeah, but not follies.
Maybe it's
against chocolate.
Maybe it's future chocolate.
Future chocolate.
You take a bite and it changes form, eh?
Sure, that's how we can explain it.
We
Okay,
retconned
well,
your folly.
that's it for facts and follies. Thank you for playing along today, ladies and gentlemen.
You want nothing but shame.
And I guess, well, we got to read back our pros and cons and see where we stand on this movie. Cons. There wasn't a lot of cons.
Yeah, surprisingly.
And none that are really that major. Probably less blood than there should have been for this kind of movie, but hey, that's forgivable.
Yeah, I think that I actually looked at the Pop and Parental guides a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't too much in there, but there was robot blood. So
Okay.
we can add, you know... I think we cross it out.
Cross it out? So
yeah.
no. And then, I don't know how this next one applies either, but it is a very mundane dystopia. Although,
Oh yeah, Midhud talked about it.
Yeah.
It starts as a very mundane dystopian.
So either dystopia just stays mundane, or it's like we said, and that's part of the plot. So,
It is part of the plot, and it does get better.
the sports movie.
But at the beginning, you've got to get through the
Yeah,
mundaneness. So it is a little bit of a con because some people may not.
But you're not expecting a mundane dystopia when you watch a movie like this. You're like, oh yeah, it is a dystopia future movie. But then you get in, it's just like everyone's just not into it, and you're like, oh come on.
But then people are going to take naps because that is always a major thing. You know,
Yeah.
you might lose your audience to sleeping. So
Yeah, I'm saying it's probably kind of a pro-con, because if it's a pro and the whole plot is that the mundanity is relieved by Motorball, Robo-ball, Rumble-ball, then it's okay. But if that sports, subplot or plot doesn't happen, it is kind of a con. So moving on. The movie apparently makes people very violent, as in the case of Lucas and Wallace, the terrifying duo that murder critics and people who hate movies they like. So yeah, I guess the fears... See, they feared that like video games are going to make kids violent, but apparently it's certain movies about robot women. The movie's not very hygienic. She rubs dog blood on her face. Pretty gross. Not a good message for the kids.
Yeah.
Don't rub dead things' blood on you. The movie could be described as a little bit style over substance and a bit cliche, especially in terms of like grab my hand and then falling.
yeah, some of the dialogue, is kind of.
What if Alita didn't grab his hand? He's he's like reaching, and he doesn't say anything. He just falls. And he's like, "Well, you should have just said, grab my hand. I didn't know what you wanted."
Well, no, Alita would say, grab my hand, and it would be him who wouldn't grab his hand. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I think of it more as a communication error.
Okay, so on to the pros. They showed a clear dedication to source material, which is refreshing in this world where none is shown ever, apparently, from what I've been seeing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we also learned about a pickup line for non-human women. You know, you're the most human person I know. So keep that in mind.
Oh, but that could be seen as a little bit condescending, you know? It's like...
Well, it's all in the delivery, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
But think about when the robot women start, you know, coming alive and becoming sentient.
And killing us.
And when we splice human and animal DNA and get animal girls, you know, and animal men, you know, then you can use it. Just remember, if you're handsome, you can get away with it. If you're ugly, you cannot.
Yes, that's always the rule. And kind of along the same lines, the movie has a sexy robot, or more in particular, a robot who is choosing her own identity. And she doesn't care what Dargus thinks.
Yeah, Dargus.
Dargus.
I think if we had an episode not in VP...
Not very important. Not valuable player.
Yeah, not valuable. It'd be Dargus.
Yeah, she's the villain of the episode.
I'm going to send Lucas and Walls after you, Dargus.
And the fourth pro here, one of my favorite, dystopian sports. Gotta love it. Then the fact that it's a sports movie, kind of a new uplifting sports movie for America to rally behind is definitely a pro. And that goes with the whole, dystopian sport thing.
And kind of getting serious, why isn't there a dystopian sports movie? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Well, I mean, technically Death Races.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. There have been some, but they were born in the 80s and they died there. But I'm talking
about, real sports, real feels-good sports movie
that's what I was
thing.
about to say. Yeah, that's a good point. The classic storyline of the underdog team.
Yeah,
because normally dystopian sports are all about stopping the sport itself. It's about how, usually the government is tyrannical and they use the sport to overcome the evil government. But yeah, like you said, I want it where everyone loves the sport, they're totally dedicated to it, and they want to succeed in it,
Yeah.
This movie needs to be made. I guess kind of... on Adult Swim, there's a show called Ball Masters, which is a dystopian sports cartoon where it's basically a gladiatorial arena where they throw balls at each other and they try to get them in a hoop or something like that. But it's pretty funny. But I want a movie kind of with that subplot or plot rather. And the puppy got screen time, which now I'm very frightened because there's a dead dog.
Did the puppy die?
Which I don't know if this is the same dog that dies, but I'm now very worried about this puppy.
I mean, Minho did say it had two scenes, so maybe one scene it's introduced, second scene they've killed it off.
I know, so that could be a con.
Puppy gets murdered. Blood on her face.
Yeah.
It's like, Alita, honey, no.
And the final pro, this movie deserves one line.
Yes, one line. That's the most important bit.
I give it one line out of one line.
Yeah. Okay, from that, we now have to come up with a review.
Well, did you guys think it slapped or did it?
I'm saying it slapped. I think
it slapped that lime really hard.
Mm-hmm. You have a lime in one hand, the other one you're slapping. So I mean,
slap that lime.
Yeah. And then when it gets the acidic juices all on your face, you're like, you know it's a good movie.
Is slapping the lime a euphemism?
It can be now.
It means you watched a good movie.
Yep.
We were slapping that lime.
Yeah, we have to tell your friends, I was really slapping the lime last night. And what you mean is, I was just watching a good movie, but they won't know. They think it's lewd. Okay,
and then you can call them out on it.
Yeah. Anyone have a review? I think I've got one.
I got one floating in my head. It's screaming 67 at me. I don't know
67?
why.
Okay.
I'm feeling like a 67. Could have used more robot blood and less cliches, but other than that, I think it'd be a pretty good movie. Don't kill me, Lucas and Wallace. It's still fresh.
What about you, Jake? Do you know, or do you want me to go?
You can go first.
Okay, I think I'm going to be probably super generous. I'm thinking a strong 80. Which is probably too nice, but this movie really hit my sweet spots. Dystopian sports, sexy robots, and dedication to source material. I've been really, really let down by a lot of different things, and just the fact they were willing to give her giant eyes just to be true to the manga means a lot to me. So, yeah, probably
sexy robot women, dystopian sports, man. What happened to you?
I am what I am, and I'm proud of it. I was born this way. So yeah, I think 20% off for maybe some of the cliches and the like storytelling deficiencies, but hey, you know, this movie seems like it was made for me, so I got to give it an 80.
Well, I'm kind of going along with Luke a little bit. I liked it a little bit more than he did. I'm going to give it a 77%. And at 10 points, I like the fact that it got a lime. I think adds a few more points. So, you know, we'll add up we'll get our average.
You always just pick a number that's going to give us a repeating decimal. That's what you do.
I saw him over there tapping away at the iPad.
We know what you're doing.
Stop bringing him back here.
It's 74.63.
He's evolved.
But Luke already gave it a 67, so I had no work to do. Once you give it an odd number, it's just over.
Hi guys, I'm back. I'm repeating a decimal. No, repeating.
He's a 6 this time.
Oh, I heard the mark of the devil in me somewhere.
All right, and I brought it up here on Rotten Tomatoes, and man, the audience to me has annihilated the critics. The critics only gave it 60%. The audience gave it 94%. That's one of the highest audience scores I've ever seen. There are 22,800 audience ratings.
Yikes.
This is insane. This movie is a crowd pleaser, man.
I guess it is.
So who was closer, the critics?
But the thing is, the critics won.
Oh, did they win,
irony, because
they were closer.
They're only 14.6 away from us.
Okay,
Because
man,
the audience is about 20%.
Okay, yeah, the critics won, but in my heart, the audience has won the Billy Greer score, in my opinion. So we'll put the critics.
A separate thing, just to see who's closer to our score.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. This has been Much Review About Nothing. You can follow us at Twitter at MuchReviewAN, and you can email us at muchreviewAN@gmail.com. And, you know, you can follow me on Twitter personally. I'm at BD_gruesome. You know, you can listen to us on Podbean and iTunes and Spotify. You're probably on iTunes, but still.
Apparently a bunch of other stuff. Some people have downloaded it from other sites that we personally didn't put it on, but I'm happy they're there.
Yeah, I wonder if Podbean's doing that, which is weird. But so yeah, be sure to leave us a review if you like the podcast. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you hate it or if there's things you want us to change. We would prefer good reviews, but at this point, we'll take what we can get.
Yep.
And we need the reviews because it lets us know for sure that people are listening. And, you know, let us know where you found it and how you found it so we can, you know, maybe mine those aspects a little more and, you know, hopefully get more listeners. But was there anything else? Well, let's. I guess we got to read our episode MVP list.
Yep.
Like before, we have the estimable Mid-Hun. He's back again.
I hope he continues until I think the thing gets shut down. That'll happen eventually.
Well, hopefully, we'll find him on IMDb or something. And you gotta give a shout out to Lucas and Wallace for inspiring a very deadly duo of characters. And finally, the critics for winning, even though I would argue they did not understand the movie as well as perhaps the audience did.
And who's in the naughty corner is Dragus.
Yeah, Dargus.
Dargus is over there. She's been banished.
Yeah, he or she, I'm not sure.
We banish you, Dargus.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe additional shout out to Raph for his review and the Flophouse crew for their great ad that they did for us. And, you know, you can check them out, too. Just search the Flophouse. Now, as a warning, they are not like us. They are not a clean podcast, so just keep that in mind. But they are very funny.
Filthy.
They are very funny bad movie podcasts, so check that out if you're interested. And I think that's it for us. We will see you next time. I've been Billy Greer.
I've been Jake Greer.
And I've been Luke Greer. Don't rub dog blood on your face.
Exactly, yes. Bye.
Bye.